whoever organised it forgot to tell buses not to go down.
It's grapes.
And you can imagine what happens when a coach this size goes down a medieval street and then can't turn. And then imagine there's 10 vehicles behind it. So yeah, that happened once on a tour where they diverted traffic through a small town, and then we spoke to like the traffic controller, and he goes, "Oh, I forgot to put the no buses sign at the front." So we had to get, you know, the 10, 15 vehicles behind us to literally reverse all the way, and then we had to reverse all the way.
That's a wild
Yeah, fun and games.
Really?
So this
You don't have any.
is actually quite an interesting reflection of Italy, because it can be incredible, charming and charismatic, but sometimes can also be chaos. And I guess we're seeing both sides today, Modena in the city and in the countryside when they forget to let us know it's a new highway.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Okay, so here we produce balsamic vinegar. The production started a long time ago as a family tradition, more than 100 years ago. And then this tradition has passed on from generation to generation. Nowadays we produce different types of vinegar that later you will taste. But the vinegar which has always represented our tradition is the so-called traditional balsamic vinegar of Modena. This type of vinegar is very different from the balsamic vinegar of Modena you can get at the grocery store, which is more industrial and it is made with a different method. First of all, the traditional one, so what we make here, is a DOP product. DOP is a certificate of quality, and it stands for Protected Designation of Origin, which means that all the stages have to be in Modena, from the growth of the grapes to the bottling. So the whole process is protected, so limited only to this area. So even the grapes we use have to come from Modena. So the tradition is obtained from Lambrusco and Trebbiano grapes. Lambrusco is a red grape, while Trebbiano is a white grape. The cooked grape juice of these two grapes is the only ingredient we can use. So this vinegar is not made from wine, because according to the DOP disciplinary, the use of wine vinegar is not allowed. That's why the grape juice is cooked. So the cooking stops the first alcoholic fermentation, okay? That's why the juice doesn't turn into wine. After the cooking, the fermentation is reactivated thanks to the addition of raw, so fresh grape juice, which is already full of the natural yeasts which allow the fermentation process. Then, in winter, when it gets cold, so both fermentation and evaporation stop, the fermented cooked grape juice is poured into sets of wooden barrels like this, where the product ages 12 years at least. So it's a very long aging process, okay? During these 12 years and even later, the cooked grape juice is transferred from one barrel into the other one. So we have to use a series of different barrels with decreasing sizes. This is an example, of course. The barrels we use are much bigger. Normally, the biggest one contains 80 or 90 liters, and the smallest one, 10 liters, okay? So every year the cooked grape juice is transferred in order to top up the barrels. Because in summer, when it gets hot, especially in the attic where the barrels are stored, part of their content evaporates. As consequence, the quantity reduces. So there is more concentration. The density increases and the sugar content concentrates. So as every summer part of the content is lost, in winter when it gets cold, so both the fermentation and evaporation stop, the barrels must be refilled through a pouring process. How does it work? So at first, when we start a new set, we have to fill all the 5 barrels with the cooked grape juice of the same year. So the first year, all the barrels are filled. Starting from the second year, the barrels must be refilled because every summer, part of their content evaporates. For example, if after the first year, the little barrel has lost, let's say 10%, we take 10% from this one, and then we transfer 10% from this barrel into this one. So this barrel is topped up with the product of this one. And then we repeat the same with the other barrels. If this one has lost another 10%, we take 20% from this one, and then we transfer the content, and so on. While the largest barrel is refilled with the new cooked grape juice of a new year. Okay, so the final product, which is this one, will get a mixture, a blend of multiple years. So after 12 years, not the whole content will be 12 years old, just one part. So 12 years is not the age, it's simply the duration of the whole process. So 12 years means that the refilling and pouring process have been repeating 12 times, so 12 years. Okay. So as it's not possible to know the exact age, this information is not precise on the label. There are only 2 degrees of aging which classify this type of vinegar, traditional and extra old. And these 2 degrees of aging are established on the basis of the chemical, physical and organoleptical properties that every year are analyzed, tested by a commission of master testers. Okay. After this test, the vinegar will be classified as traditional or extra old. Traditional means that the process started at least 12 years ago. Extra old means that the process started at least 25 years ago. So the aging doesn't stop after 12 years. It goes on because through the years, the properties of the vinegar keep improving and developing more and more. Okay, so the older it gets, the more valuable it is. Okay. After the approval of the commission, the vinegar is bottled into this special bottle, which is the official one. So this bottle guarantees the authenticity of the product. So all the producers, by law, have to use this special bottle, which is unique. Okay, so this is the shape. The content is always 100 milliliters, and the color cap indicates the degree of aging. So there is a bottle with there is a bottle with a white cap and another one with a golden cap. If the cap is white, the aging is 12 years at least. If the cap is gold, the aging is 25 years at least. This one is called extra vecchio, extra old. Okay.